righty, we have about 3 minutes before we start. So I'm going to keep letting people in. Just sit back and relax, and then I will tell you, I will allow our moderator to get everything going, and we'll go from there. Hey, Ms. Brown.
Hey, how are you?
Teaching summer school.
Oh, ugh, gross.
Wasn't supposed to be, but that's okay. I'm here. We're going to do this. We're going to get this done. So I'm excited.
People weren't signing up, huh?
Oh, no, we're good. So.
That's good. I mean, I meant teachers.
So, gotcha. Yay. So I'm excited. I'm excited to do this. Hello, Mr. Williams.
Hello. Hello. Good to see you. Hello, Clarissa. You also?
Hi. Yeah, I'll be in Vegas tomorrow after the conference.
I don't even want to hear about it.
It wasn't hot enough here, Clarissa. You got to go somewhere hotter.
Oh, I know. Well, you know, I know. I'm afraid about that. I like bought like extra sunblock. All of my shirts are sleeveless. You know, like, yeah, but we'll see how it goes. This is nice. I'm glad you're doing this.
Well, yep. I decided, well, I've done a lot of Google stuff. I know a lot of Google, but Desmos was really like the game changer for me during virtual learning. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, when you were showing us in the Spanish meetings, I'm like, this is good. I liked it. Oh goodness. Summer school. Is it almost over?
Next week.
Next week? Okay. Maybe next year. Maybe I'll do better next year, you know? That's my thing. I'll do better next year. Well, did you enjoy your 4th? You know, that little break in between?
A little break? Yeah, it was pretty relaxed. It was good. So actually, I wasn't even supposed to be teaching second session. So an emergency came up and I was like, okay, but I said, you have to get someone to cover me for this. Yeah. I'm teaching my Desmos, so.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, here comes another one. Hello, Miss Pales.
You can go ahead and get started, Donna.
Oh, you want me to go ahead and get started? Or do you want to do your presentation first?
No, it was sliding. It was rolling, so you can go.
Okay. All righty. So let me mute my music. That's one of my big things for me when I teach. Welcome to everyone. My name's Donna Good. I am an English and Spanish teacher at Paris High School. This summer I'm English. I haven't done English in 13 years, so kind of pulled that out the crate. But I am a Spanish teacher who predominantly teaches students who do not speak Spanish at home. And so I was introduced to Desmos actually probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And all I saw was parabolas and graphs and everything, and it freaked me out. And I said, I don't do math, I do words. And this year, in some of the social media groups I'm with for language teachers, one teacher had taken up Desmos and was running with it. I said, let me see this in action. And I saw how he was able to engage in his students, and it changed me forever. And I'm like, I am Desmos for life. So one of the things that I've been doing on my campus, I've been teaching other teachers how to use it effectively who are not math teachers. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let me go over pretty much the concepts that we're going to cover. I'm going to do it as quickly and effectively as I can, but I will pause to see if you guys have questions. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to actually build a Desmos for you. And I'm going to show you the different ways to build it. So you guys can take notes. This whole thing is recorded, so you can go back and watch it. You do not have to do it while I'm doing it because you'll fall behind. But I want you to see all the varieties of tools that we non-math teachers can use to effectively use this program. Then once I built it, I'm going to publish it, and then you guys are going to be my students. So when we get to that point, I have just one question that I need to ask you guys in order to support me and support your learning through this. And then while you guys are going to be the student, I'm going to be teacher and present mode so you can see what the student sees and experiences as well as what the teacher sees and experiences. Alrighty, so any point in time you have a question, feel free to open it in the chat and we will discuss, okay? If you do not have a Desmos account, when I give you the link, you'll get set up. It's pretty easy. It's not a big deal. And at the end of all of this, once it's all published, I'm going to give you the link to what we create today. And with that link, I'm going to, you guys will be able to make a copy of it, and everything we do today, you guys will be able to run with, which is a beautiful thing. So that's my goal. This is Desmos 101. So if you guys know some things about Desmos, then, you know, these may just show you a few other strategies that you can use with it. Alrighty, so let me share my screen. Alrighty. Okay. So what we're going to do to get us started is I'm going to show you how to pretty much build different types of slides, okay? So if you look, when you open it, it'll just have one slide up. Right here with this plus button, if you click it, it will add a slide. If you click the X on the slide, it will erase it, okay? So that's pretty basic. Now you have different options of what you want to build. So each of these blank slides, we're going to be building something. Okay. And then I'm going to show you how to copy and paste. And from there, once we have this entire thing built up, okay, then I'm going to show you guys how to publish and what to be mindful of when you publish. Then once we publish, you guys will be students and you will be actively engaged in it as a student. And I will be presenter as teacher. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to do 2 to 3 slides at a time, and then I will go and see if you guys have questions. Let me fix one thing real quick for my sake as presenter. Let me minimize this and move you guys and me over here. Yay, now I can see you all. Okay, there we go. So in the first slide, the first thing we're going to do in slide number 2 is just a simple basic free response question. So you can, if you like where it says add title or instructions for your students, put the instructions there. I personally like the side notes because it gives me more room to put more details. Okay, so where it says note, that's just where you're writing something. So be it instructions or information, you click and drag. Okay, that's the note. Then I want to put some text input right here. I click and drag. So now the answer will be on the top and the information will be on the bottom. If I want to switch the locations, I click on the 3 lines here and I can move things around. Oh, here we go. Okay. Here we go. So these 3 lines allow you, the user, to move things. So I can put it on the side, however we want. So we're going to leave it like that for now. So now In my unlabeled note, what do I want to put? I want to put the information. Now, here's a great thing I love is that you can use Google Docs or Microsoft Word and have everything already typed there, like I have, and just copy and paste. So if you already have a document that has the questions you want to use and the information you want, simply copy and paste. There we go. All right. Now, when you want to find out what it looks like from the student perspective, you go to preview. This is what it looks like. Okay. This is what the students will see. If you want to make a copy of this and duplicate it right here, you can copy it and paste it. Okay. And then that way you're not having to keep redoing, if you're doing very similar sides, having to keep redoing and redoing it. All righty, so that's free response. The next one we'll do multiple choice. So once again, I like that note so I can let students know what they're doing, and multiple choice. Now, one thing I really like about multiple choice here on Desmos is that you can ask students to explain their answers. Oftentimes when we are having students give us, either true or false or A, B, C, and D, we don't have the ability to have students to justify why they're giving the answer that they're giving. So this allows us to require that for the student. Okay. And then once again, copy and paste to make it simple. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, and we will come back. Okay, so that's how you can do that. So you have the note, the directions, you build your multiple choice, and we will come back with that one. Now, the nice thing about the multiple choice, when you go here to the 3 dots, okay, on any element in your slide, that allows you to delete it. You can randomize your choices, always have a selected option. There are different types of buttons or tiles. So if you have students, for example, I know that there are special ed teachers in here, you may need a bigger tile and not just the words written. You can provide them with that. And then you can do check boxes or multiple choice. So it does allow you to switch back and forth when you choose those to which one you want to use. Okay. So we're going to leave this as multiple choice. Now, the other thing that it allows you to do is it allows you to make it into a discussion where students show their classmates their answers. So this can be used as an assessment tool, formative or summative. It can be used as a study guide or practice, but another great tool and use for it is to have a discussion board, an ongoing discussion where students can put their responses and once they submit them, then the rest of the class can see it and you can join in a discussion. So there's multiple choice. Check boxes. And like I said, with the multiple choice and the check boxes, you can switch back and forth with them. Okay, so I can make this multiple choice. I can make my check boxes, my multiple choice into check boxes. So if you decide to change, you say, yeah, I kind of want them to be able to pick more than one, which is what check boxes are for, then you can switch it. Or I only want one answer, then you just do multiple choice. Okay, ordered lists. Ordered lists are where students are putting things in order of either priority, in order of sequence, in order of time, in order of any of those type of learning modalities. So for example, in my Spanish class, I may put all 12 months in Spanish and they have to put it from January to December. Or I may say do from April to March, but they're putting it in a sequence order. So you pick what your top label is going to be. You pick what the last one's going to be, so your bottom label, top and bottom, and they're both optional. So if I don't need to do that much scaffolding for my students, if I can just go ahead and put them all in random order, then I can put them in random order. So once again, I always think of my special ed teachers. This gives you the opportunity to scaffold for them to say, here's the beginning, here's the end, figure out the middle. And if we're dealing with maybe some higher end students, here are all of them, just figure out where they go. And once again, you have options here, okay? So you can use order as answer key, or you can randomize it. I haven't put anything there yet, so it's not letting me do anything. Okay. So we have each of those different styles of making the squares, okay? So the next one, we're gonna go through these top ones and then we'll go to the sorting cards. Sketch, which is always fun. This is where the kids get to take their mouse and they get to draw, okay? So just as a preview, if you're a student, and you can pick the ones you want. So this one has, you can draw, you can do a line, you can do a text, you can do math, or you can erase. So I can go here and I can just draw whatever I'd like to draw. And it's gonna draw right there with the student and the user so that they can put their picture there. So if, for example, I'm teaching in science, let's say I'm teaching the water cycle, and maybe I want them to draw pictures of each stage of the water cycle. There you go. You can get it in a drawn form. Now, when you preview, whatever you put in the preview, it will erase once you go to the next square or you close it. Okay. Now, the other option we have is we can add a background. So if, let's say there is a picture that you want to add to this image that you want students to be able to draw on, you can go up to your files. You can pick a picture. I decided to pick cute animals because I like cute animals. And that picture will show up. So you can also embed things from your lesson that students can now draw on, be it arrows, stars, circles, whatever you want them to be able to interact with as part of the activity. And then last but not least, we have a table. I love to use tables for Venn diagrams. That's my favorite thing to do. So to be able to compare and contrast, or you can use it just to list characteristics. So let's say you just want to list 5 of the, thinking 5 key elements to the Revolutionary War, 5 key elements to the Civil War. You can do that right here. So it always starts you off with 2. You click an arrow, you can insert a column either way. And then to insert more rows, we're just gonna simply click in a row and then hit enter. And you can also delete a row, or I mean a column. So once I start hitting here, I can go down as far as I feel I need to go. Okay, so like I said, you can use this to list and inventory things. You can use this as a Venn diagram to compare and contrast. That's my favorite thing to do. And however it works for your subject matter, that's what's going to make the difference, however it works. All righty. So before I move on, in the chat, let me know, are there any questions? Because I want to make sure I'm not going too fast. Are there any questions, any things you guys wonder how to use? If you guys feel like you're all good, just type all good in the chat so that way I know. Okay, so I just want to make sure you guys are understanding. So these are building blocks, and you guys get to make the building blocks work however you guys see fit. And the reason I'm doing it this way, honestly, is when I first, like I said, when I first saw Desmos, I was like, I can't do this. It's graphs and numbers and it's scary and I just can't. I really became intimidated by this program. And so I said, if I ever learn to use it, and once I did learn to use it, that I would help other teachers learn to navigate it and learn to navigate it in a very simple way. Okay. So that's my goal here. And I'm hoping that you guys are understanding. Here are some of the steps. Here are some of the ways to use it. Here are some of the things we can do with it. All righty. Okay. Now going to the next one. Some of my favorites. Oh. Okay, here we go. Now, let me give you one preface. Oh, that's why. Hold on, guys. I'm on campus and the AirPlay just went off. I was wondering, why did it freeze up on me? Let me get it back up on screen. Sorry about that. Let me get it back up. Now, while I'm waiting for it to come up, some of you guys may be into coding. I'm not a coder. I know that you can do awesome things when you learn to code, but there is the ability to do coding in Desmos, and they actually have a couple of resources that will help you to learn how to code. In other words, so that way you can direct students where you want them, how you want the activity to work with the students. So sometimes you can do slight tweaks and changes. I'm not that savvy yet. I wish I was, but I'm not, and I'm still very intimidated by it. I will tell you that now. But I still am able to effectively use this tool and use what's already programmed with it. So for those of you guys who are coders and you like to put the codes in, I'll show you which button will let you, and and you can do it with each one. Like I said, I'm not going to go into that because that's super advanced and it's going to take way too much time to go over all of that. So let me stop sharing for a minute and then get everything up. and then we'll finish out what it looks like. Then I'll have you guys play around with it as a student a little bit. All right. Got it working, yay. All right, so let me get back to sharing with you guys. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to do this another way, and that's fine. Because I don't want it to keep falling off. Because unfortunately, the screen is not working. So, you know, we teachers, we always have a plan B. Always. Okay, let me get last thing up, and then we'll be good to go. All right, now I'm gonna share one more time. All righty. So here we go. So we're right here. So we've done text and a note, free response. We've done multiple choice with students verifying their answer. We've done check boxes with students verifying their answer. We've done ordered lists. We've done sketching blank. We've done sketching with an image, okay? Adding media, simply right here. All it means is you can put an image or a video here. Now the video, you cannot use a link. The video must be it must be downloaded onto your computer. So you have to make sure that it's in a way that it can be retrieved from your hard drive, okay? This is not connected to your Google Drive. So whatever on Google, you're gonna need to put on your hard drive so that way it can load up here. Otherwise, you should be absolutely fine in loading video or an image. So you've seen do image, and then you can also do videos if you would like. All righty. This action button right here, that's for those of you guys who are good at the coding. You want to make sure it does certain things and the button goes here and the button goes there. I'm not a coder, so that's not going to help me at all. Now, the next thing we're going to do is a card sort. Card sorts are fun ways to help students to be able to kind of organize their knowledge in different ways. For me in Spanish, I use it for vocabulary. I use it for sentence structure and organization. You can also use it to put things in order and prioritize. However you feel you want to do it. You can do it with text and image, image and image, or text and text. So I can have a word and they can match it to the definition. I can have an image of one thing and they can match it to the opposite. Or I can have an image and they match the description or they identify who the person is. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So first we have the text card, okay? And then we add an image. We'll add card, image, card, image, card, image, okay? I'll go back here to my wonderful cheat sheet, copy, paste, copy, paste. So I'm putting all the words on the cards. And like I said, if you have a place where you can brainstorm everything and have it to where you can just copy paste, it's fabulous.
Donna, we don't see your screen.
And I need one more text. Text and then image, okay? So however you want to do it, totally up to you. Now, this is one warning I'll give you from my personal experience. I
Donna?
use Cami a lot, and sometimes in Cami you can copy and paste. And what happens sometimes in Cami is when you copy it, it won't paste in Desmos. So what
Donna?
I've learned is copy and paste it onto a doc, and then from the doc, paste it on the Desmos, and it'll work much more effectively.
Donna, they can't see
Now-
your screen.
Can't see
Image.
what you're doing.
Okay.
Oh.
Image wise, I'm once again going to click on the card and I'm going to scroll down and I've had Bitmojis. So I'm picking different Bitmojis.
Donna, can you hear me?
And each one will land on a card. So you can pick the images you want from what, but once again, from the hard drive, not from Google Drive. So some things you may have to move over. Now, for those of us who are really good, at making sure that we're navigating our and know how to do the coding, then there's ways you can create specific things you want to show. But once again, I just use this as the basics. So now, what does this look like as a student? Everything's all mixed up. So you sort out the pictures, and then you decide which one you want to go with what. Okay, so if I want to put bonkers here, I can put bonkers. You can put the two cards together. Okay, so things like that, to where you're practicing and you're using either the pictures or the vocabulary, however you design this to work. So card sort, and it can be, you could do the picture, the word, and the definition.
Donna?
Hold on one sec. I know what's going on. Hold on. Why is it not sharing? Okay, hold on. Let me get it back to sharing, guys. Ah, I couldn't hear you guys. Hold on.
Yeah, so you can mute your screen. You can mute like the sound coming out of your computer while people can still hear you when you're doing the Zooms and the Google meetings. So it happens sometimes.
Hold on, Clarissa. Let me see if I can get this to work real quick. There we go. Can you all see it now?
I can see your mouse moving across the
Let
screen.
me refresh it.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
We could hear you the whole time.
And can you see it being shared?
I can see your Google Camp deck and I saw
You got it now?
I saw your cursor go across the screen, but I don't see it anymore. Can you put it back across the screen? I see your cursor again.
Let me know in the chat, guys, if you guys can see it. Because for whatever reason, I can't hear you in the classroom. You should be seeing the Desmos template. All right, let me do this real quick. Okay, it says I'm sharing. It says on my end that I'm sharing, so I just need to make sure that you guys can see it. And then I can go back and review a couple things. On my end, it says it's okay. Yep, on slide 8. Yes, that's where we are. Okay. All righty. So let me go back, review a little bit, make sure, because I know you guys missed a couple of things, and then we'll keep going. Because what it said on my end may not have been what it said on your end. So now we're on slide 7. Okay, so with slide 7, like I said, this is the table right here. The table allows you to do I have mine set up like a Venn diagram. You can do it where you're just listing and inventorying. However you want to set that up, that works best for your classes. Okay. Right here is an image. So I can click here and choose an image I want to add to the presentation. So if this is the book we're reading, I can choose this image. It will show up. It'll just be an image. So when the students see it, it's like what you guys saw in the beginning, they'll just see the image. Unless I add something else with it. So if I want to add with the image a note, and I want to add a multiple choice question, then I can. So I can add as many elements as I would like to each square. So that's that. Okay, here, right here, this is the card sort. Okay, so I'm gonna do it one more time because I know you guys missed that. So you're going down here full screen where it says card sort. We're not going to use graph because we're not math teachers, unless maybe science you might need to, or if you want students to see a graph of something, that is a possibility. But you're going to use text and text, or image and image. So right now, all I'm going to do is a couple of these over again so you can see how I made them. Okay. So with the text, I'm going to choose some of my vocabulary. I put the vocab in English so that you guys would be able to understand it. I just copy and paste. Okay. Now, if you want to type it, you can. Feel completely free to do that. So if I want to put bonkers, I can type bonkers. Or I want to type innocent. Totally up to you how you want to do it. Now, adding the image. You click on this, and it's going to take you once again to the hard drive. You click on an image, you open it up, it adds to it. I pick Bitmojis just because they're easy. Okay. Or you can double click on it. It shows up. Now, going to preview, this is what it's going to look like. Everything's all mixed up. And you can drag and drop. Put it on top, 2 cards together. So one of the things that I could do, if I wanted to, if I was doing science or I was doing history, is I could have an image of a person or an image of an animal, give the name of the animal and maybe the genus or species or some descriptive detail of it. Maybe it's a president. I give the president's name and then when that person was president. If I'm doing language arts, oh, you can do different types. So you can have like different types of literary devices. You could have however you want to do it. Totally up to you, but you can do it picture with picture. You can do it words with definitions, whatever's going to work for you. And the kids like this because, like I said, it's very interactive. They get to drag and drop, figure it out. It's kind of fun. And you can leave it like that, or you can have it be 2 cards in one. And you can use it. You can have, when I do have my students use this to build sentences, we can have 8 to 10 cards in there. All depends on how you want to use it. Okay. All righty. Now that I have everyone back, any questions? Any questions? All righty. Now, there are some really cool slides that are already built into Desmos that we can cut and paste. So if you go into Desmos and you go into home right here, typically starter screens will be here. And this is kind of like a warm up. This has nothing to do with math, how you doing, how's life, things like this. And they have really good ones, some for checking for understanding that you may have to tweak a little bit, but they're really good that you can add in. So there's 3 that I'm going to put in and copy. Now, how do I copy and paste it? This right here. Come on. Where you see the 2 little boxes together, you just click on that, it's copied. Then you go back to your Desmos. You click on your square and you just paste it. Okay. Now, what does this one allow students to do? And you can edit it. You know, if you want to say more, it's how are you feeling today? That's what they call it. So when you do this, which is fun, let me do it from the preview. Oh, and you can edit it, you can change it. It has all that kind of stuff. You want to be super fancy. I'm going to show you a couple ways to change it. So we're the student, and it can be agree or disagree. It can be like or dislike. The more I move it over, the more it's going to smile and be happy when I move it to the right. And when I move it to the left, the more grouchy and grumpy it's going to get. So it's just another fun way to change. Instead of how are you feeling? Do you disagree or agree? Do you like or dislike? You get to set the parameters for what this is. And it's another way for kids to gauge, because a kid may not necessarily completely like or dislike, but may be like, I kind of dislike, or I kind of like a little bit. It gives them that chance to kind of play with it. And once again, just a variety of ways for students to interact with whatever lesson they're learning. Okay, so I just copied and pasted that. I edit what that has to say, and we're good. Now, if I wanted it to be a group discussion, I click on this, and then when they submit, when they share, everyone in the class will see it. If I want it to be just for me, then I don't click on that, and only I see it. So it all depends on how you want it. I use the sharing when I want to build a class discussion. Let's see what these people said, and let's add our comments to that. Okay, a couple more I want to show you with the time we have left. That are really cool. Okay, love this one. Where are you at today? That's what it says. Okay, we copy it, we go in, we have a box, we paste. The same way you would copy and paste on a Google Doc is what you're doing here. Okay. You can edit, you can allow students to see their classmates' responses, but here's what I like about this. If I go and edit this, let's say I don't want the positive and the negative and the energetic and the tired, okay? I can go back and I can change these. So I can go back and I can erase where it says positive and I can put high. Now, wherever you see the word, the words are going to be twice. So you have to repeat the same thing or it's going to get a little crazy. Low. So it's already done for you. Just have to change the words. Big. Making it simple, but you guys can do whatever works for your subject matter. Big, small, and small. Everything else is done for you. Then go back over here, click done. Ta-da! Now you've changed it. So you didn't have to invent it. You've changed it to meet whatever you want the kids to measure. Now, when they're measuring something, whatever it is, you can say, you know what? This one is big and high. Right here. This is where I would put it. Sort of big, sort of high. Really big, but not too high. They get to gauge where it's at. Once again, you get to decide what questions you like in response to that. Okay, and one more we're going to copy. Agree or disagree. So it's the same type of interactive slide. Paste it, and then you can change it. Okay. You find agree and agree, disagree and disagree, change it to what fits your platform that you're using for that class. Okay. Strong, weak, happy, sad, whatever it is you're using. It's I'm trying to think, in English, okay? You can range it by, if you're talking about, you know, different characters, different events, predictions, all sorts of ways you guys can use this. But the good thing is the math is already done for you. So I wouldn't change any of the math. I would just change the language here, agree and disagree to match what you're doing in your class. Okay? So here's all the different ways that we can go and put Desmos together for use. And what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to put this together and I'm going to post it in the schedule, and you guys will be able to make a copy of this. So all these slides that I've done, you won't have to redo and figure out. I'm gonna have them all made for you, and I'm gonna put things in them that you can edit and change, and that way you can practice it. All righty. The pre-done ones, I'll show you where you get the pre-done ones. When you go to the home page of Desmos, so you're going to teacher.desmos.com. Okay, so we go to the home page. That's a great question. Home, it says featured collections. Featured collections are where they have all the collections that they've already pre-done. But if we're not doing math, we're not going to need like linear systems and linear functions. But the starter screens have a couple that are just warm-ups and getting the kids going and checking to make sure they're understanding. I use this one, screens for checking in. When I click on that, not only does it have it in all these different languages, which I actually do use it when I teach Spanish in Spanish, then I can go down here with the student preview and I can pick the ones I want to use. If I want to use all of them, then I would assign it. Now that's a good question. How do you assign? Now you can go in and set it up if you have Google Classroom to work with Google Classroom. I don't believe it works with Canvas. I think it just works with Google Classroom. Now you can assign it based on your classes, okay? So when you do that, here are my classes, right? And I have it mine where I don't necessarily post it in Google Classroom if it's classwork. Because kids get confused and lost, I want them in class where I can explain it. And I don't post it on student Desmos. Desmos has its own custom classes you can make. So like I said, it's Google Classroom or Desmos. So once you have your classes imported into Desmos, you can do that. Or the other option is you can do what's called a single session code. When you do a single session code, it's going to give you a code that will go either 48 hours, 2 weeks, or a year. If you do 48 hours and you need more time, you can always extend it. So you create the code. I'm just making one up. So this is the code right here for the kids, your students. You view the dashboard. So it's going to open it up in presenter mode. And then I'll show you some of the tricks you can use when presenting. So there's the code right there. All righty. You copy it, you give it to the kids. If you want to deactivate it, turn it off, you click right there. If it expired and you want to reactivate it, it will reactivate for 14 days. And then if 14 days is too much, you deactivate it whenever you're ready. So there it is right there. You guys can go in and join if you like. Kind of play around with it as a student. Okay. Now, a couple other things you will have. You can paste this. What I mean by pasting is I pick this screen to start with, and let's say I want kids to go not past screen 3. So when kids get on, they can only look at screens 1, 2, and 3. So I can use this as a classroom management tool because we all have those students who love to just run through everything, get it done, and say, I'm done. So you can do it 1 screen at a time. You can do it 2 or 3 screens at a time. So when they go in as a student, it will not allow them to go past screen 3. I can also pause it. If I know this is something I don't want students working on outside of class, I need to make sure that they're in class with me so there won't be any type of, like for me, I have them work in class with me so I don't have to worry about Google Translate. You know, a lot of kids trying to get everything translated and figure it out. No, I want to see what you're going to write yourself. I can pause it. It puts the whole thing on freeze. No one can do anything, change anything until I unpause it. And the last thing I can do is I can anonymize the names. So if we're going over something and I don't necessarily want everyone to know who is who, it will give them names of scientists and mathematicians. So this is where you have good classroom management skills right here, which I like. So I will show you the example here with one of the classes I did this past year in Spanish. Now, here's the other thing you can do. You can switch your dashboard. So let's say you teach 3 Spanish 1 classes. I can have each one copied and make duplicates, and I can view that board. So this is just an example. So right here, it's on. I can deactivate the code right here. Now my kids can't use it. So right here, this is the summary. Everywhere there's a dot, a student has turned in something, even if it's just a period. You can see their names there, but if I anonymize them, now they are mathematicians and scientists. They know who they are. I can see who they are, but no one else in class can. I can paste it. I can pause it. As teacher, in real time, I can see what they're writing. So as they write this, it actually writes in real time and I see their responses. Which is one thing I like because I let them see that I can see their responses. And then I can also create snapshots. So what do I mean by snapshots? It means I can take pictures of what they are responding to and their answers. So these little cameras right here, click, click, click. And then when I go to snapshots, I can drag the snapshots over and create a whole piece for discussion. You know, compare and contrast these two answers. What do you agree with most? What do you agree with least? And I can now present those to the class without any student names. Okay, so that's that little camera. Couple other quick things. When I go back to teacher mode, actually, when I go back to summary, and I'm going to open up now, this is one student at a time. So if I go to the next slide, it'll show me the student's work. If I go down or up, it'll show me the student before or after. Now, right here, you guys see this little comment box? This is where you can give lesson feedback. So if you want to say great job, if you want to say make sure you answer all of the questions, you want to say interesting perspective, whatever you'd like to say, that feedback will be sent directly to the student in real time. So as they're working and you're watching their responses, if you want to re-guide a student without having to get up and go to that student's desk or call that student out, you can do it right there in real time using Desmos. All righty, let's see, is there anything else I want to make sure I cover? I think that's about it. A couple other things real quick. And this is just on organization. Then for those of you guys who want to hang out with me because it's lunch, I can go over some more stuff with you. For those of you guys who need to leave, then I'll let you guys go and grab some lunch. You can create collections. So collections are how you organize assignments. So for me, I organize assignments by their subject matter. So Fiesta Fatal is a novel I read with my Spanish 2s and 3s. And I also organize by period. I'm not someone personally who can remember one assignment and know that this is the code for first period, this is the code for fourth, and this is the code for sixth. So plus there are times I just want everything to be in one place for sixth period so I can quickly find it. You can easily create these by just simply, wait, hold on. Let me go back for a sec. When you open an assignment, oh, hold on. Let me go back again. Right here, new collection. New collection right here. Okay. And then when you get to an assignment, so I'm going to open up this one. And it goes to the plus sign. You pick the collections you want to put it in, or you add a new one. Desmos also gives you a teacher guide. The teacher guide is just a way to help you plan your lessons. It's not necessarily teaching you how to teach anything, but it's just making sure you cover everything you need to cover. And you review it for your lessons. These are your notes. What are the things you want to make sure you have? Okay, you can print this up, and these are your teacher notes. Okay. Last but not least, you can edit the activity. Now, here's one word of caution. Once you've published it and kids are in, you can't fix stuff. I have misspelled so many things just going quickly. It is what it is. I can manage editors, so I can have other teachers editing with me. So if I have the other Spanish 1 teachers, we can all work on one together. I can share it, which is what I'm going to be doing with you guys. I'm going to have the activity shared so you guys can go in and take a look at all of those screens and have them already set up. You can copy and edit. So that's what I do. I make a copy for period 1, a copy for period 3, a copy for period 5. Or you can completely delete it. You say, I'm done with it. I don't want to use it anymore. The beautiful thing about this is I made this for period 6 over virtual learning. This year, when I'm teaching this again, all I have to do is make a copy of it. It's already done for me. Edit a few spelling errors and it's done. So once you make a Desmos, you have it for life and you can use it as many times as you need to use it. All righty. So any questions? Anything anyone want me to cover? Since I did not realize I was not screen sharing.
Can you hear me? Donna, can you hear me?
Just let me know because I'm gonna be here for probably about, I'm gonna be here for about 10 more minutes. Yes, so if you separate it by period, you get to control when students go in, when it's paused, how it's paced. So you can have different sections for different days. You will be able to do that because you as teacher get that classroom management and master control. So for example, when we were doing online learning and I had Spanish 3, 6th, and 7th, then on the days that I had Spanish 3, 6 period, they would start. The next day we'd have Spanish at 7th period, then they would start and period 6 would just pause where they were at. So yes, you can stagger it in time. Did that answer your question, Tamara? Okay, here's what you would have to do. If you want different sets of assignments, you'd have to make a different Desmos for that class period. So what you could do is let's say, you want 5 of the slides to be the exact same, but 5 of the slides are going to be different. You could still copy it, delete the ones that are going to be different, and then add the ones that you want. Because the other thing that you can do, is, so let me go here. Right, so I have a few guys in here. So when you are still in editing mode, you can rearrange the order of the slides. So if you want to have different assignments for each period or for each subject, it has to be a different Desmos. Because once you publish it, it's locked in place. So does that help clear it up for you? So here, I'll show you here. So just to give you an example, I can take slide 4 and I can slide it down, and now it's slide 8. So if you need to, what I found is when I need things to be similar but not the same, I copy and edit. So I'll go through and make changes. So at least I still have the basics of what I need. But every time you publish it, once it's published, that's locked in place. Any more questions? When I had period 6, what that was, Tamara, is that was all the assignments I assigned to period 6. So let me go and show you that, how that works. Not there. So right here, so when I go to, so right here, like for example, Fiesta Fatal, that is that collection, then that's everything that I did with Fiesta Fatal. So I'm gonna go here to period 6. Here are all the assignments that I labeled period 6, okay? So that's chapters 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Anything I choose to label period 6 will go in period 6. Now these are dual labeled. These are labeled, well, actually 3. They're labeled created by me. So I was the originator. Then so yes, period 6 is a collection. So if I go back to my collections, I made period 6 into a collection. So period 1, period 6, period 7, all collections. Then I have different, like Fiesta Fatal, that's a whole book. So I'll have it just for the book, so I can see it for the book. Here's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Here's an extension activity, however I want to do that. Then I have it for periods. So just depending on what I need to look for, do I need to look for it based on what chapter it is in the book, or do I need to look for it based on what activities we're doing during a period? I personally label for both. You get to decide how you want to label your collections. You get to create those. So however you feel works better for you, you get to customize that. So right up here where it says new collection, you click on that, you make a new collection. It can be private, it can be shared with the link, and then you create that collection, and that helps you to be able to organize the activities you create. So over here are all the collections that I made, that I have right now. And I'm gonna have to update it for this upcoming school year. Good questions. Any other questions? Okay, so yes, you can. So if I go to Fiesta Fatal is the book, right? Here is the name of the assignments, all the Fiesta Fatal that I have. So I can see the name of the assignment. When I go back, or I look under period 6, then I see the assignments that I did for period 6. So that's how it works. Because I have them in both collections, then I can see them either way. So if I'm looking for something for someone who was absent 6th period, I can just go to 6th period. I don't have to crawl through all of Fiesta Fatal. But if I want to double check and say, hey, what questions did I ask for chapter 5 that I need to expand on in chapter 6? I can go just to Fiesta Fatal, find it, and then use that to help me build. So it's nice because I can do, like you said, it's nice because you can do either or. But I have it set up that way. So when I open up this assignment, this activity here, when you go to the plus sign, Tamara, See, here are all of my collections. If I need to add a new one, so you had noticed periods under period 6 and it's under Fiesta Fatal. I can create another collection if I need to, if there's another one I need to make, so that let's say it's a collection for absent students. So maybe that it is 6th period, it is Fiesta Fatal, but these are for the kids who are absent. So they have a little extra or something special they're doing for makeup work. I can create that too. However I want to do it, I can totally do it. So I do new collection. Once again, you get that, you get to create it. And when you are saving this, you click on however many collections apply. So if you notice here, it's under Fiesta Fatal, period 6, and it was created by me. Anything else can help you with? Or are you feeling better about it? Good, good. Any other questions you want me to cover? You can grade with this. I'll show you how I do grading. When I grade, or because I graded it over when we were doing virtual learning with my school. I typically, for me, it was 5 points a question. So you know the dots are where the students are inputting or doing some sort of activity. So you click on that, okay? And then my rule is it was 2 to 3 sentences. So this only has 1 sentence, it gets 3 points. And so then I go to the next one, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, okay? So 3 times 5, that's 15 points. And then I just put it on my, I print out a spreadsheet of my classes and I write down the score. And then from there, I'll put it into the Infinite Campus is what we use, but whatever your grading program is, put it in. And then, so I've done Alejandro, then I press down. And I just go backwards until I'm finished with all of those. Okay, then I go down and I go across. So I know pretty much slides 5 through 9 are what I'm grading. And that's how you can grade. That is what I have found the easiest way to grade. Now, if you just want to make sure, okay, if you do it, you get credit, 10 points, however you want to do it, you can, that's fine. And for credit, you can, simple credit, just look and say who's got all their squares with the dot in it. And so that can work too. Just all depends on how you want to grade and what you want to accomplish with the grading. Does that make sense? Good, good. All right, anything else before I let you ladies go?
Can you hear me?
All righty, ladies, thank you so much for coming. Have a wonderful afternoon.